Well, hello everyone. This is JOEDRUMS2112. This is my first live stream. Figured I'd talk to you guys a little bit. I'm about to hit 10,000 subscribers, and thank you guys so much out there for sticking around, at least watching me. Hope everybody's doing great today. I'm downstairs in my drum room right now, so if you guys have any questions, any comments, feel free, drop a line. I don't know what to talk about. Let's see. I played drums this morning in church. I went and bought a new amplifier, which I'll make a new video about down the road here. I bought a Roland keyboard amplifier so it can, connect to my electronic drum set or drum machine or keyboards or whatever. But yeah, if you guys have any questions out there, throw me some questions. I'll try to answer them as best I can. Let's see what else is going on. Just kind of rearranging the drum room a little bit, trying to get things straightened a little bit. As you can see in the back there, I have my Manu Katché set, which I added those sound off drum heads so that they sound really soft and quiet. Hello, Juan. Nice to see you too. Anyway, this is my first one, so I'm kind of like a little nervous. I've never done one of these before, but anyway, so yeah, back there I've got the Manu Katché set with all the different sound offs, and the cymbals are silent cymbals from Zildjian. In the center, right there, you can see that's the trap set. I have that, and I just put some new strings on my bass the other day, and I've got the SG Epiphone guitar. I added some strings on that. Actually, you want to check this out? Hold on, I've got some guitar strings here. You can check these strings out. They're pretty cool. They're made by DR, as you can see here. Check that out. So the strings are all different colors. I got these, I just wanted to try them out. I thought, since I teach guitar lessons too on the side, I wanted to try this with some students. If the students get the same brand of string and colors, then I can say, play your pink string, now play your yellow string, play your blue string. So I'm going to try it. We'll see if it works. Can't hurt. So anyway, that's what I did with this. Yeah, this is a real nice Epiphone. I got this used at the music store where I used to teach drum lessons, and I think this was like for $100. Normally they go for about $3, and just it played really good and it stayed in tune really well. I was really happy with it, and so yeah, I'll play a little bit of it. Sounds pretty good for the strings that's on it, you know. It's out of tune a little bit. Let me tune it. It's a little cold down in this basement. There you go. Sounds better already. Could do some AC/DC with this, as you can see. It's got that SG look. It ain't easy living free. Season ticket on a one-way line. Anyway, so yeah, that's the SG. What else? I got my Beatle guitar over here too. This sucker cost a pretty penny. The Beatles Rickenbacker, as you can see. And of course, I had to get the guitar strap with it too, as you can see the Beatles guitar strap. And this is the John Lennon Rickenbacker, American made. Goes for about 3,200 right now. I think I paid 26 for this one. So let's see if this is in tune. Sounds pretty good to me. Anyway, so that's the Beatle guitar. Love this thing. You got the 3 toaster pickups like John Lennon liked on it. So anyway, pretty cool. Anybody, again, this is Joe Drums coming to you live. If anybody has any questions, let me know. Anything they see in the room behind me, or question about drums or music or whatever. Here's Every Rose Has Its Thorn. I'm working on it with a student. Every rose has its thorn. So anyway, so that's this. That's the Rickenbacker. Let's see what else. I can let me see if I can move these chairs around. Do that. You can kind of see the Beatles drum set. I'll turn this a little bit. Hopefully nothing will fall. There's the Beatles drum set. Anybody have any questions out there? Questions? Any questions? You don't have to ask any questions. It's up to you, whatever you want to do. But I just figured I'd show you the room. This is where I teach drum lessons and guitar lessons and piano lessons and bass guitar lessons and ukulele lessons. You name it, I'll play it. Yeah, that snare drum right there, that's actually the Edge snare drum by DW. It's a 13-inch, 13 by 5 1/4, and it's been a really good snare drum for the side, like for like a side snare drum just to kind of play on. And let's see what else. Back, let's see. I've got my right there, way over there is my other Mac laptop. I keep that behind the drum set, so if I need information quickly, I can just pull it up right there. Obviously, I got still the Rush posters there. The Rush drum set, where the Ringo set is right now, basically is, hey, Sully dude, how's it going, dude? Yeah, basically the Rush kit's over my buddy's house right now, and it's been over there for practices and stuff. So I miss it. I miss having it here and playing with it like whenever I want. But right now it's over his house because we're using it. Because he sold another Rush drum set that my buddy had on. He's the guitar player for Gold Rush for my Rush tribute band. And yeah, anyway, so that's that. You can see a little farther over, right there is the keyboard, which is the Mallet Cat. I got some blankets on it right now, trying to cover it up, keep the dust off of it. But yeah, it's got some really cool sounds in it. I use it for obviously the Rush shows and stuff. God, what else can I show you here? Let's see. Turn it a little bit more. There's my recording computer. I'll get out of the way there so you can see it. That's my computer over there that I record with, and I've got monitors up and down for different types of, if I want to, let's say I want to hear what it sounds like on bigger speakers, I can use those, and then I'll flip on these ones down here and hear what they sound like on small speakers. And one of the reasons why you want to do that, if you don't know about recording, is you want to hear kind of what your mix sounds like on both sets of speakers. So that way, when somebody puts it in their car or somebody puts it in their little, portable jam box or whatever, it's going to sound good. And that's kind of what you use those monitors for. They're really nice. Juan's asking me a question. Hey, Joe, what plans do you have for your channel in the future? Like to go more tutorials or covers of anything like that? I would like to know that. Yeah, that's a good question. Basically, copyright infringement is rampant now on on YouTube. Everybody wants to, YouTube wants to cut everybody off. If you're not into the high society market where you get the privilege of, getting to play along with the original song. I mean, when I first started this channel, it was really easy to just put a song on, jam to it, and there was no problem with it. Now all these lawyers come in, and Google owns this now, and there's a lot of people that basically want to control everything, and it's kind of sad because if I'm playing a drum part to something, I want to hear the original song playing with the drummer. It just bothers me if I don't hear the original. Sometimes the books give you like play-alongs, and they're not always that fun to play along to. So, but yeah, it's been hard. But if I do any more songs playing along with it, I'll do it with the book, and I'll probably just play it without the music. It's really hard for me to throw the original music on. I mean, I'll be listening to the original in my headphones when I'm playing along with it on the drums, but for the most part, I'll play it, and you'll see the video with me playing the drums, but you won't hear the audio from the track, so that I don't have to copyright infringement problems like I had. I had another channel before. I don't know if you guys knew this, but I had my very first channel on YouTube was back in was it 2006, 7, around there. It was just called Joe Drums. It wasn't even Joe Drums 2112 like it is now, but it was just Joe Drums. I think Joe Drums 1 or something like that. Anyway, I got copyright infringement for ZZ Top. What was the name of the song? It was I'm trying to think of it. ZZ Top. I got stopped for that one. I'm reading some of these. I've watched your vids for years. I've learned so much from you. Oh, thanks, man. Thanks, Zora Jams 105. Appreciate it. Oh yeah, thanks. I even tried to get. I've actually contacted Joel Rothman a few times via email, and I was trying to get him to maybe send some more books, and he actually did. He sent quite a few other books, but some of the books, I think they'd be very boring to kind of show just on video. They're exercises, but some of them are like play along with another drummer. Some of them are just snare stuff, and it's all fine and dandy. But I kind of stuck with like the rock stuff and kind of that rock genre with the books like that he has, and those are really good because they show a lot of interesting patterns that you don't really normally would come up with. He gives a lot of cool patterns in those books, so I love doing those. But yeah, I can throw some more of those on. Some more. There's tons of stuff in the Mini Monster book. I'll tell you, that's a great book. If you guys don't know about it, the Mini Monster book, I've got it right here. It's one of my teaching tools. I use it pretty much all the time. It's the one that basically it starts off with basic rock beats, and then it gets really heavy into 16th notes, which these are the patterns that everybody's playing nowadays. Back in the 50s and the 60s, they started with maybe the first couple pages of playing those, and then as this music got more sophisticated, it basically got more sophisticated with the drum parts too. So not only there are patterns, but there's fills that you can use. In fact, I've even showed students how to use patterns as fills. You can do those. Hi-hat splashes, how to open up the hi-hat if you've never done that before. It shows you that stuff there. Tom fills, different things like that. It's just a really good book. So I swear by that one. The one I've been teaching out of mostly like now, let's see, where is it lately? Whoop. There's that one. Where's it at? It's around. Oh, here it is. This one. So for anybody that doesn't know how to read music and kind of get you started, this is the one here, Drums 1. It's by Fast Track Music Instruction CD. The CD's included in some of these. Some of them actually use MP3, and you got to go to a website, type in the code, and then you get the free music that comes with the book. But it's put out by Hal Leonard, and it goes over quite a bit of stuff. And it's a good, fast way to get up to speed playing drums pretty quick. So it shows you beats and fills. It's got over 75 songs and examples, rock beats, blues beats, funk beats, different styles, music notation, and improvisation, which meaning that you can kind of take a pattern and make it your own and kind of switch it around the way you like it, you know. Let's see what else is going on. Oh, cool. Okay, that's the book you're into. Cool. Yeah, here's another book too. I'll tell you a little story. I took lessons from this guy, and this was probably when I was about mid-teen. I think I was about 14, 15. And I took this book here. It's called Around the Drums with Triplets by, I used to call it Paul or how did I say it? Capozzoli, or no, it's pronounced Paul Capozzolis, but I pronounced it weird. But anyway, this book was actually one thick book. Now they broke it into 4 books. This is book 1. It starts off with triplets, and I have some videos on YouTube right now with this book, and it basically shows you all the triplets around the drum set. And when I first got into this book, I thought the drum teacher that I was taking from, I thought he really didn't know what he was talking about, because I showed up and he told me to bring my sticks, and then he took these 2 rubber tips. He took this, like a rubber tip like this one here. Vic Firth makes these now. And he put a rubber tip on the stick like this, and then put one on the other one. And I said, why are we putting these on there? And he said, well, I want to show you my drum set. So he pulls out his drum set. It's 4 pieces of round wood. And there was no cymbals or nothing. It was just 4 pieces of wood. So anyway, he had me playing triplets around the drum set. And I played it. You know, I played the book. I went through the whole book with him for a couple years. And I just kept thinking after a while, like, this guy doesn't really know what he's talking about, because, you know, with a drum set, you need cymbals. How are you going to play a drum set if you don't have cymbals? But what he was teaching me, which I didn't know this at the time, I do now, but he was having me get around the drums and get fluid so that my arms would move real fluidly around the drums. If you've ever had that problem, you know, you're playing a beat and then you're trying to do a fill and you either hit the rims or you miss the drum entirely, or your fill gets really sloppy as you're going around the drums. This is what this cleans up. It cleans up a lot of that stuff, so that when you're doing a fill and it comes right from your head, comes down to your hands, it gives you a way to get around the drum set without thinking about it so much. And that's what that book was for. And I really didn't notice that until one day I was playing with a band, and we were playing outdoors. It was for some baseball thingamabob. And we played, it was a 3-piece band, and we were playing on this stage that was like a plug-in trailer. And somebody had tripped on the cord, and the band chorus stopped. And somebody yelled out out in the audience. They said, "We want a drum solo." And so I asked the guys, I said, "Hey, you guys want me to play a drum solo?" And they said, "Yeah, go ahead." So I started doing a drum solo, and I'm playing around and doing all these fills and stuff and going, wow, man, I've never thought I could do this before like this. And everything was going real fluid and nice and smooth. And, you know, I got the big applause at the end of it. And then it dawned on me right there. I was like, wow, that book that guy had me do all those triplets and 16th notes and all that stuff, that really, really helped what my drum solo was all about. So again, I swear by that book. I got quite a few students taking lessons with that one now as well. Let's get back to some reading here. Let's see. Tarja, hello. How's it going there? Thank you. I got a big room full. It looks like a music store. So yeah. But yeah, that was an eye-opening experience when I found out that the teacher really knew how to teach, and I didn't know what I was talking about. But you know, I was a kid growing up, and here I was on this drum set with 4 pieces of round wood. You know, can you imagine? You know, it didn't even have rubber like this pad has rubber on it. It was 4 pieces of wood. That was it. That's why you put these rubber tips on the sticks so that it wouldn't mark up as wood. And then he had me bring a pedal. I had to bring a pedal with me, and I hooked the pedal up, and his pedal was hitting the 2x4. Okay, so try to get some bounce out of that. You're not getting much out of it with the, the beater that I had on the pedal at the time. And it was tough. But and here was another thing too, is that it was a conservatory of music, which you walk upstairs, and it's in this kind of like dark, dingy upstairs attic, and here's this 4 pieces of round wood, and it just kind of, I don't know, it was kind of creepy. But it was a conservatory because there was other rooms in the house. It was actually a house made into like a music store, and the each room had its own thing that they were teaching: piano in one, guitar in another, flute in another, trumpet in another. It sounded like a whole house full of music, and you could hear everything going on. Everything was blasting through everybody. It was just kind of a big noise. I'll never forget that. It's just weird. But like nowadays, now you come down to this is where I teach drum lessons. It's nice and bright. I had 3 fluorescent lights, and it wasn't giving me enough light. But I went up to Best Buy, and Best Buy has these lights that connect to Google, the Google Home. And all I got to do is say, "Hey Google, turn my lights blue," and it'll turn them blue.
You got it. Changing 8 lights to blue.
Oh, I turned I got other lights in the house. I just turned everything blue. Oh no, I should have said the drum room lights. Whoops. Hey Joseph. Oh wow, Tarj has been following me for a long time. Hey, I appreciate that so much. I'm coming up to 10,000 subscribers, so I'm looking forward to that. I don't know if YouTube's going to give me anything, but if they do, that's cool. If they don't, oh well. My wife's just signaling me now. She goes, "All the lights turn blue." Let me turn my drum room lights back. Hey Google, turn the drum room lights to silver.
You got it. Changing 2 lights to silver.
Hey Google, turn the drum room lights to chartreuse.
You got it. Changing 2 lights to chartreuse.
Ooh, cool. Anyway, Ben Burns. Hey Joe, great to see you. More drums. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna do some more drum stuff. I should probably do some drum stuff today. I've got, man, I don't know if I play the drum set if it's gonna be too loud. I don't know if anybody else has played, if it's too loud. I don't know. We'll see. I'll try something maybe on the Beatles kit over here. I'm sitting at my DW set. You can't see it here right now because it's right. See, I'm sitting right behind it. There's the Zilbs and cymbals. But I figured it'd be better to see the room. So there's the Beatle kit. I guess I could play on that a little bit. Play drums, please. Yeah, I guess I could. My wife has been bugging me to do this live thing, man, and I just wasn't sure how people were going to react to this. So, so is everybody having fun? Are we having fun? I don't know. Joe, I see the Ludwig drums practice on Slingerland set circa 76. What do you think of the vintage Slingerlands? Oh man, I just it's funny that you mentioned that. I was at I love Slingerland to begin with. If I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Neil Peart actually had a Slingerland snare drum that he always used, even when he switched to Tama. He was always using that Slingerland snare drum until he finally switched over eventually to I don't know what it was, a Tama. Then here's something weird too. If you see in the back there's a Neil Peart poster where he was actually using Ludwig at one time. He did use Ludwig for one time. So that's kind of a priceless poster because you can't, there's nothing out there with him and Ludwig anymore. Although he had it for a few years. That was Roll the Bones tour right there. And then the other picture of Rush right there is the 78 tour with Hemispheres. I'm a big Rush nut if you haven't figured that out by now. All right, let me get on the drums. Let's see. I'll get these chairs out of the way. Ta-da! Chairs. Move over here. There. Can you see the Beatles set better? I feel like I have thousands of people in my home right now. So I have two microphones on here right now. These are overheads. They're not plugged in at all. I just have them here for when I'm ready to go record. I've been wanting to do some Beatles covers and just kind of redo the Beatles, some of the Beatles songs on my recorder over here. And I have a snake right underneath this floor tom. I have this snake. And gosh, I hope this is not loud. It's going to be distorted. Funny, wouldn't it? That one on a Beetle kit. Anyway, here's the other set. This is the trap set from England. They make these from England. This kind of sounds like this. I don't have a seat here, but let's put this. I'll just do it like this. Over here. This is a little mini mic booth, and I use this for recording. And I have a microphone here, and this is the windscreen to kind of stop all the wind from, if you're breathing or popping, you can pop with your, say peas. So that's what that does. And then that just plugs in right over here, and then I'm able to record. So it's like a little mini microphone booth. This is everybody's been getting one of these nowadays, is the Roland SPD SX. This is the one I use for my Rush, all my Rush stuff. A lot of good Rush sounds in there, including the intro to YYZ and also 2112. Here's the I don't know if you can see. Yeah, I guess you can kind of see over here. This is the quiet set. So I got the low volume Zildjian cymbals, and I've got the silent stroke drum heads on here. 50 ways to leave your lover. Anyway, you can't see me because I'm sitting behind the drum set, and I have my electronic drums, but I don't have a speaker to plug them into, so those I could play all day and you wouldn't hear me. This drum set right here, this blue one, this was my very first drum set. I got it like 1979. My dad bought it from a place called Wonderland Music, if you ever have heard of the name of that place. Obviously, the heads aren't the original, but the drums are. The hardware and all the cymbal stuff is all kind of bought recently. But this is the drum set that I have when I'm teaching drum lessons. This is the one the students sit on. And I picked up one of these, what do they call it, a big fat snare drum sound, and I use these exclusively on this snare drum and my snare drum that I have over there right now. So they sound pretty good. Let me take these rubber tips off. Throw them over there. So it sounds pretty deep. If I'm using just the snare drum itself with one ring, I have the little Remo ring. Sounds nice and tight. If I want it to sound a little bit fatter, this head's kind of old, so I think if I got a new head on it, you would tell a little bit better. But it's deeper, you can see. Anyway, so that's that. So yeah, the set still sounds pretty good. I still got still got a lot of life in it. Being 40 years old. But yeah, it's a fun set. Let's get over here and I'll see what else is going on here. Joe, how about some hi-hat openings, closings, gliss and bark. Oh, thanks. Your stare sounds like a grilled cheese sandwich. Yeah, the head on it. You got to understand, my students, they've been using that head for quite a while, and I've had it on there for about 6 months, good 6 months. I need to change them more often, but that costs money. So things and closings. All I can say is that there's a really good book for that. It's called the Mini Monster Book. I've talked about this earlier in this video today. Basically, on page 48, and this is the revised edition here. There's flashes on the upbeat, so you got every single possibility. You got them on the end of 4, the end of 3, the end of 2, the end of 1, and then they've got double openings on the end of 3, end of 4, and so on. And then they've got them on the upbeats, the downbeats, and the upbeats and the downbeats. So there's a lot of different variations of that. But I could play some of that, but I don't know. That's kind of boring for everybody out there to just see me open a hi-hat up and close it and stuff like that. Yeah, I wish I had the Rush kit over there so I could at least play a little bit of some Rush stuff for you. Um, Hello, Dwayne. Welcome to Joe Drums 2112 channel. My first live uh, video here down in my drum studio. Having fun. Um, let's see. Let's turn my drum room lights a different color. Let's turn them to. Let's see. What should we turn them? Let's. How about green? Hey Google, turn the drum room lights to green.
Okay, changing two lights to
Ooh, look
green.
at that. They turn green. Let's see if you can see it. I don't know if I can tilt it up. There they are. So see, I've got the regular fluorescent lights, as you can see right here. And then I put a track of lights over here and on the ceiling, and it really makes a big difference. They put those out by Philips. They're just kind of what they call light strips, I think they're called, and they're kind of expensive. They're a little bit like $79, 79, $80 for a certain amount of length. And then if you want to add more, then they have extensions you can put on them and connect them. And so I ended up putting like two extensions on each one of these to kind of go across the whole room so that it can light it up really well because it was kind of dingy down here without it, you know. If I say, "Hey Google, shut off the drum room lights," this is how dark it is. Hey Google, shut off the drum room lights.
You got it, turning two lights off.
So see, this is without those lights on. This is just the fluorescent lights now. And as soon as you can see, like in the corners and stuff, you'll see it light up. Watch. Hey Google, turn the drum room lights up.
Okay, brightening two lights.
Hey Google, turn the drum room lights to silver.
Okay, changing two lights to silver.
Hey Google, turn the drum room lights up 100%.
Okay, brightening two lights by
There you go.
100%.
So you can see it kind of takes all the shadows and stuff away from the corners and makes it a lot better. Dwayne says, I saw Stuart Copeland recently with Edmonton Symphony Orchestra. Oh, nice. They were playing along to a silent film from the 1920s, Ben-Hur. It was cool. Yeah, I think he had something to do with, or his dad was a jazz musician, and he was really into the movie Ben-Hur. I don't know if he had something to do with the original or something, but yeah. So I could see why he's doing that Ben-Hur thing from his dad, Stuart Copeland's dad. I love Stuart Copeland. Phenomenal drummer. I remember first hearing him for the first time. It was like when punk rock first come out, and it was just a whole fresh perspective of a different style of drumming, which I had never been accustomed to listening to, you know, until that came out. And then it was kind of like reggae meets rock. And it was like, wow, what's this, you know? Um, True Bones says hi. Hey, how's it going, True Bones? So yeah, it was really fun to see the Police. I saw the Police one time live. It was when they came to Cobo Hall. I think it was Cobo Hall, or no, it um, might have been the Palace. I don't know, one of those. Anyway, it was the Synchronicity tour. That was really cool. Sting had just got off a movie called Dune, and his hair was bright yellow, and it was or bright orange, because the in the movie he had his hair orange because the particular character that he was playing had this really bright orange hair. So if you ever see any orange pictures of him with orange hair, that's why it was from that movie called Dune, which is a really good movie, by the way. Any of you sci-fi guys out there that are drummers and love sci-fi like I do, Dune's a really awesome movie. Um, so yeah, I was really heavy into the Police. Um, right when I got into high school, though, I was kind of like set into the Rush track for a while there. I was just getting out of the Kiss track. I was in really heavy into Kiss in my early days. You know, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, right around there. I got really heavy into Kiss. But yeah, oh, so you're a Rush nut too, True Bones? That's cool. Yeah, Rush is and still has been. I've been a Rush nut ever since then. Ever since I heard my first album by them, which was like I think it was 2112. That was one of my first listenings to a different style of drumming than I've never heard before. Neil took it just to a whole new level. I mean, you had Bonham. Don't get me wrong, Bonham's still phenomenal. But again, it's not. You can't say that Bonham is better than Neil or Neil's better than Bonham or Stuart Copeland's better than both of those guys. It's just really what. And I always hate those magazines that have reader poll results, and the best reader or best drummer for this year and that year and this for the recording and this and that. It's really just preference. It's what everybody likes. All the drummers that we know, all these professional drummers, John Bonham, Neil Peart, Mitch Mitchell, the list goes on and on. All these famous drummers, they're all good. They all play differently. So you can't say one is better than another because if they all played the same way, then you can kind of choose, okay, who's the better drummer? But you can't do that. I mean, they're all different. They all have different styles. If you put 10 professional drummers in a room, each one's going to play differently. And thank God for that. Thank God they can play differently because it gives us, the beauty of listening to different styles of music, different styles of drummers. It's just the way to go. Keith Moon, yeah, I see. Dwayne had mentioned the Who. I love the Who. Um, I think I first started getting really into the Who when I was with this band back in the '80s, and I was into the Who. I liked them, but I wasn't really totally set on them yet. But what changed my mind was having to learn the drum parts when I was in this band, having to learn those drum parts, and we did stuff like the early Who stuff, and it was phenomenal. I mean, it just opened my eyes again to a whole other style of playing drums. So yeah, that was really cool, and from then on, I was a big Who nut. Um, yeah, so uh, trying to think of some other drummers that were a big influence for me was obviously Peter Criss from Kiss was a big influence. And it wasn't because of the makeup thing. It was literally because I remember watching him play his drums, and he had that, classic open silver toms that were just glistening in the light. It just looked so phenomenal. And I used to love just watching his drum solos. And then when they came out with Kiss Alive 1 and Kiss Alive 2, they had his drum solos on there, and those were phenomenal. So yeah, I loved doing that. I loved listening to those drum solos. And then when Neil Peart came out with Rush and doing the live albums, Exit Stage Left and All the World's a Stage, I was like hooked on. I had to learn some of those solos. And I didn't maybe learn the whole solo per se all the way through. I do now. Now that I'm playing in a Rush tribute band, I got to play them pretty close. But back in the day, I didn't have the drums or the cymbals to be able to pull all that stuff off. So I would learn little bits and pieces of some of his drum solo from different albums and stuff. So that was cool. Ringo, I love the Ringo drum solo that he played on "In the End" at the end of Sergeant Pepper. Or no, not Sergeant Pepper. I'm sorry, take that back. The Abbey Road album. If you listen to the last song on Abbey Road called "In the End," it actually has Ringo's first and only recorded drum solo. There's no other drum solo as far as we know. Yeah, it's a phenomenal solo. So I urge you to listen to that drum solo. Ringo's phenomenal on it. Kind of gives you a whole different perspective on how to play drum solos. Let's see what's going on with the. I saw Rush first in 1989. Yeah, that was a good tour. That was a really good tour. Yeah, Mick Fleetwood's and oh man, Fleetwood Mac when that Rumors album first come out, I listened to it, listened to it, listened to it, and I wasn't even listening to it for the drums. It was just the music was just so phenomenal. Come to find out, that that album as well as Nirvana's album Nevermind, those were all recorded in that same studio, and Dave Grohl bought that console from that studio and put it in his. He's got it at his house now. So that's phenomenal. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but yeah, the Fleetwood Mac Rumors album was recorded at the same place Nirvana's album. What a switch of different styles of music there. But what was phenomenal is they had this area in the studio that had this sweet spot where the drums were put all the time for recording, and it just like a cathedral, just the drums just sang in that particular area, and it was not done on purpose like that. It just happened that way. They just realized that that was the best spot to put the drums at to record. So, do you ever play Kiss on the Rush kit? Yeah, I've done that occasionally. I've done some of the. Let's see, what did I do? My favorite Kiss song to do would have to be um, probably like Cold Gin, or I love Cold Gin, and what's that one where he uses probably Love Gun. Love Gun's a good one. Those are always phenomenal. I'm a big fan of Fleetwood Mac. I saw them live around 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah, God, I would love to, met him at least and seen them play. He's just like in the pocket drummer. I mean, he's one of those. He is a born what you call a born recording studio drummer. His timing is just impeccable. He's like a built-in metronome inside him. My brother who is 60 loves Kiss. Yeah, I mean, Kiss was the thing when they first come out. I mean, nobody really had makeup on other than Alice Cooper. Um, I don't know if King Diamond. I think that was later on, but pretty much everybody else, nobody had the makeup on as much as Kiss did. They kept adding more and more till finally they got to the perfection of what we see nowadays. So, um, how do you guys feel about Eric Singer as the drummer now for Kiss? I met Eric Singer. I think he's a phenomenal drummer. Um, since Peter Chris, I wish Peter Chris still playing with Kiss. I wish all the arguments and stuff would go away, and I wish they'd still get back together again. But that probably is far from my dream come true. So, what are you gonna do? Um, yeah, I think Kiss is charging way too much for concert tickets. I think they're taking advantage. But what are you gonna do? They say that this is gonna be their last tour. Well, we'll see about that. They like money too much. Lately, they've been liking more money than playing their instruments. I guess I don't know. I still like Kiss. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be a meanie about it, but I just feel like Kiss is taking advantage of too much of they love the fans, but then they charge them like $300 for a ticket. Come on, that's just too much. I think they should charge less since they're going out. I think they got enough money. You know, I just I hate the fact that one day I'm probably going to see a toilet paper roll with Kiss's logo on it or something. They got their name on too much stuff. Freddie Bishop, how you doing? Good question. How did I decide on what drum set I wanted? Well, obviously for iconic reasons, I got the three that I liked the best, which was obviously the Beatles because I was a big Beatle nut starting off when I very first started even thinking about loving music. Beatles were always my go-to music that I'd listen to all the time growing up. And again, I'm born in 1965. I'm going to be 54. I know I wasn't, a teenager listening to the Beatles when they first come out, but when I was 60 in 65, I was just being born, and obviously they were in their prime right there. But back, when the 70s were around, my sister pulled out a Beatles album, and played it all the time, and from then on, once I heard the Beatles album, I, I couldn't really, I wasn't a musician yet, so something drew me to it. It wasn't, I couldn't figure out what it was, but I just loved the music, and I listened to it when she was gone. I'd put the record on and I'd listen to it, and yeah, I just got totally immersed in the Beatles, even at a really early age. Nobody showed me it. I just kind of obviously fell into it because my sister was playing it. And then, you know, later on in high school, I got into, there was a lot of kids that were into Led Zeppelin, and that's what kind of got me switched into listening to Led Zeppelin and Rush. And again, I was still listening to Kiss, but then I wanted to hear some of these other groups, and Led Zeppelin was definitely one of them. So when I first saw that movie, The Song Remains the Same, and I saw that drum set that you could buy a drum set that was clear. You know, his was orange Vistalite, and that clear orange Vistalite, man, I fell in love with the color right away. Let alone seeing, you know, you could see him through the drum set, which was awesome. And so I always wanted that drum set, and I thought one day, you know, if I run into some money, I'll get it, you know. And one day I happened to be at Guitar Center, and this buddy of mine that worked there, he said he had one and he was getting ready to sell it because he was playing in a funk band. And can you imagine playing on a Led Zeppelin drum set doing funk? He was just so loud with this funk band that he was in that they told him, they said, you better get another drum set or we're kicking you out. So he ended up getting a different type of drum set for that. I think he got a Gretsch or something, and he started using that for his funk group. And so I bought the other kit off of him, and I'm glad I did because it's so iconic. As soon as you see that drum set, you know who plays it. You know, and I think that was my attraction to these drum sets. You know, was it's so iconic. As soon as you see the gray, black oyster pearl drum set, you know that kit, and then all of a sudden you see the logo on the beetle on the drum head. It's like, oh my god, I want to play that. You know, I just like instantly just got I want to play on it. And then the other kit, obviously, was the Rush one. Not, I mean, because he's played on quite a few kits, but the one I'm thinking of the most was right around that prime area where, um, you know, Permanent Waves, Moving Pictures, Exit Stage Left was that mahogany Tom set, you know, that superstar set. And man, I love that set. When I got to finally play on one, it was at my buddy's house, Brian, who is the guitar player for the Rush tribute band that I'm in called Gold Rush. And we have some videos on here. I've got some videos. If you check them out on here on YouTube, just type in Gold Rush in the search for my on my webpage here on YouTube. It's on there, and you can see the drum set. As soon as you sit behind it, it's like, oh man! You look over here, and there's that 6-inch tom, and it keeps going, and it gets bigger, and it gets bigger, and you turn all the way over here, and way over there is like the gong bass, and then you look up, and you got chimes hanging and temple blocks, and I mean, it was just like a dream come true to behind that drum set. And then the interesting thing I noticed myself was that when I used to listen to Rush, I'd say to myself, like he's doing a fill or whatever, I'd say, why is he doing that fill that way? Well, when you get on the drum set and you actually sit behind what he played on, it starts to make a lot more sense to me as far as what he did, why he did what he did, because of the way the drums were coming around here, and then he has a snare right here. So you'll hear certain things that as he's playing, you kind of look and go, wow, now I know why he did what he did because it was right here and all that stuff. But when you don't have that in front of you and you're looking at a 5-piece drum set, you can't even think of those. You can't even imagine those things in your head until you actually sit behind a set like Neil's, you know. So that's what opened my eye up to that set. So I do have the other Zeppelin set too. The very first drum set that Bonham had was the Maple Ludwigs. I do have those too. That fell into my lap. I was at a Guitar Center one day. Met my friend. My friend actually had his drum set at his house, and that's the one I bought, the Orange Vista Light. But this one was from somebody else. They brought it in for a trade-in. They were trading that Bonham set up for a pearl, for some type of pearl custom master set. And he was a doctor, and he knew me. It was funny because he watched my channel, and he says, "Oh my God, I'm so glad you're buying this drum set because I watch you all the time." And I said, "Wow, thanks." He says, "I'll be watching you a lot more now that you got my drum set." I said, "Okay." So yeah, maybe I'll take that Ringo set down one day and put up the the maple set. I do have some more videos on YouTube of me playing the maple set, so you can see those as well. I have some videos that are on Vimeo too. Those are actually playing some songs, but those are getting copyright infringement as we talk right now because I don't know, they're starting to do things over there too, like YouTube is. Let's see. I would think you like the set 24-inch bass drums. I'd like to have a collection of drum kits like yours. Yeah, it might look down here like you guys are looking at this drums studio down here like I got a lot of money. Um, I'm not rich at all. I mean, this was accumulated over years and years of me playing. I've been playing for over 40 years drums, and I've bought this stuff different years. It's not all bought at the same time. Every instrument that you see here, the guitars and everything, were bought differently at different times. So yeah, it's just like I have students come down here and they'll go, "Whoa, you must be rich," and I'm far from rich. It's just I get a little bit of money and I'm off to the music store and I want to get something. In fact, which reminds me, I just was at the store tonight. I had a couple of amplifiers. I had a small mini bass amp from Fender and a small guitar amp from Fender. They were called the B deck and the G deck. If you've seen those before, they got a built-in drum machine, and they play. And it's a little portable amplifier, just real small for practicing, and that's all it was. Well, I wasn't using them anymore, and I figured I'd trade those in. And I got me a Roland. It's called the KC 600, and the reason why I bought it was so that I can plug into my Roland kit here, or a drum machine, or one of my keyboards that I have, or I can plug a guitar into it, a bass into it. You can plug in a microphone. You can go stand on the corner and use that amplifier as a walking concert. you know, so I got it for that. But also my church is having a thing called a Vacation Bible School, and I'll be bringing probably my uh, SPDSX. So I need an amplifier for that. I have one right now, an old one, but it's not working anymore. I'm having problems with it. So I am going to get rid of that and maybe sell it to somebody that can fix it up or whatever. And I've got a nice Roland amplifier, which I'm really happy with now. So it's not down here yet. In fact, it's still in the car. I haven't even taken it out of the car yet. I plan on it, but I had so many other things going on. And then my wife wanted me to get on here and do a live video for you guys. So it looks like I've got like 18 people on here. Wow. Earth is flat, Bob Dole. Somebody put Earth is flat. No, that's a good question. I think the Earth is round, just like a drum set. All right. The Earth is round. My mind about that. I don't care. Flat Earth people out there. Did you see Bonham live? That's a good question too. Woody B asked me if I saw Bonham live. I never got to see him live, but I had a ticket and I had to get refunded. It was the 1980 tour from Led Zeppelin. I was in high school, and I was standing in the hallway. I'll never forget this. They wouldn't let you go to class yet. You could go into the school, but you had to sit in the main hallway until the bell rang. So we're all sitting there, and somebody had a radio on and had it to one of the rock stations, and they said, "Ladies and gentlemen, we have something to tell you." I don't remember exactly what was said, but they said, if you have Led Zeppelin concert tickets, the concert has been canceled. And then reality set in, and he said, John Henry Bonham has died. And I lost it. I was just bawling my eyes out. And I had the worst day of high school that day. I just couldn't get through school. It was on my mind the whole day. It was Bonham was dead, and I was like not gonna ever see him, play live. That was just knife in the heart, man. I just was so sad about it. But yeah, I wish I would have or could have seen them back in the day. That would have been phenomenal. I would have loved to. Um, um, Dennis Smith has great chops. Oh, okay, cool. It's been cool to meet you someday. It'd be cool to meet you someday. I'll be going to listen to your Rush videos now. Have a great week. Okay, you too, Freddie. Thanks for stopping by. Keep rocking, as I always say. What are your thoughts on Tony Thompson? Oh my gosh, I love Tony Thompson. When I heard Tony Thompson, and then I realized he was a studio musician playing for a lot of bands. Madonna, if you think of Like a Virgin, that's him playing drums. He had such a powerful, powerful drumming style. It was monstrous. I just loved listening to Tony Thompson. Obviously, with the what's his name? Uh, Gosh, in my head, I can't think of what's her name. Um, the Help me out. What's her name? The Power Station. Yeah, thanks. The Power Station group. Man, I when that album first come out, I played it over and over. Every song on that album was great. I love Tony Thompson. Yeah, he's a great drummer. Sad that he's gone now. Boy, all these great drummers are leaving us now. Do you know Government Mule? Yeah, yeah, phenomenal band. I got introduced to them by one of my drum students' fathers. He was big into um, the Leonard Skinner and all the Southern groups, and he said you got to hear these guys. And yeah, I've got quite a few of their albums. They're phenomenal. Hey, do you still have Neil Peart replica kit? Yes, I still have it. It's not here right now. It's over my drum. It's over my guitar player's house. The drum set set up there for us to practice on. John Lennon and John Bonham died around the same time. Oh yeah, wow, I didn't realize that. Oh yeah, Chick Yeah, he played with Chick too. That's right, in the early days. And Robert Palmer, yeah, with Power Station. Yeah, they're phenomenal. And even Robert Palmer's gone now too. Man, I loved his voice. He had a style all his own. Yanni Geek. Hello, dude. Who do you like from the 1970s besides who you mentioned? The 1970s. Um, Definitely when I saw Journey on TV for the first time, Ansley Dunbar, big, phenomenal. Love Ansley Dunbar. He ended up on later on in the Whitesnake album, which had the in the still of the night, I had a wolf howl, honey. That one. So he played drums on that, which a lot of people thought that Tommy Aldridge played the drums on that, but Tommy was busy with Ozzy. So, but yeah, also the Knack. I'm a big Knack. Gary, um, Bruce Gary, a phenomenal drummer. Phenomenal drummer. Sad to see him gone too. Oh my God! I'll tell you what, and then this is the truth. A lot of drummers don't realize this. You listen to the Knack, their first album, pretty much maybe the second album too. Mostly the first album though. He's playing stuff just as hard as Neil Peart has played. Some of the parts on that, I guarantee you, you try to play them, it's harder than hell. It's really hard. Um, First of all, to play it the way he did, you got to have a lot of stamina. I mean, just try to play, the big hit, My Sharona. That's a very, very tough tune to play. It's just like Neil. Like I say, the parts aren't like what Neil does, but what I'm saying is it's busy. It's just as much as Neil Peart's drum parts. Listen to the very first album of the Knack album, and you'll know what I'm talking about. There's every track on there is phenomenal. It's so busy, and you have to remember certain parts to it, just like Rush. It's just as busy and just as intricate. It's amazing. Um, this Dwayne says my cousin, who is 65 this year, was not allowed to play any conventional instrument as a kid. His dad made him learn to play the accordion. That's funny you mentioned accordion. My dad wanted me to play the accordion too, and I used to like kind of squeak on it, and oh my god, it was horrible. I from then on I was like, nah, I'm not. I didn't get into that, but my dad wanted to learn how to play the organ, so then I started to learn. He said, "Well, my dad says I'll pay for you for lessons if you want to take organ lessons." I was thinking, wow, that would be cool. Yes plays the organ. Genesis got organ. Um, ELP they play organ, and I was like, yeah, I'll do that. So I took for about 3 years, and that's kind of where my expertise of piano and organ came in, helping out with that. So that was fun, but I never got into the accordion. I know my dad, I probably broke his heart maybe by not learning the accordion like he wanted me to. My dad was pretty good at it. He didn't play in a band or anything. He just did it for his own pleasure and playing around the holidays and stuff like that. I remember, he would do like polkas, like Joseph Horick says, polkas. Yeah, that was his big thing. He loved polkas. My dad loved Johnny Cash too. I love Johnny Cash. He's got some great beats on there. All right, Ben. Thanks for stopping by. Take care. Um, but let's see who else. Drummers from the '70s. Let's get back to that question. So, like I said, obviously, um, who else? Trying to think of some of the good ones. Obviously, the Who, um, Keith Moon. Also, let's see who else from the '70s though. Gosh, I can think of a million of them. Let me see if I can pull up my. Let's see. I can tell you in a minute here. Pull up my. I'm pulling up my iTunes. Get this transcription out of there. I'm pulling up iTunes to give me some ideas of '70s drummers that I like. Um, Gosh, who else? The drummer, I don't know his name per se, but the drummer from Golden Earring, great drummer. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. That Radar Love, phenomenal drum solo on there. That guy was phenomenal. What's your opinion of Matt Abs? Matt Abs. Woody, who's Matt Abs, if you can tell me? My dad is almost 89. Wow. He told me once he hated the Rolling Stones. Oh, yeah. Charlie Watts is a great drummer. He says years later, he said he saw them on TV. I asked him how they were. He said that they were good. Yeah, Charlie Watts is obviously Ringo and Charlie Watts, they weren't the greatest players in the world of what they played. But imagine if John Bonham or Neil Peart were playing drums for the Beatles or for the Stones. It just wouldn't sound good with the style of music. You got to have that basic, simple beat. And that's what they gave us. They knew what to play. They could have probably played more, maybe not so much like some of the other drummers, but still, Charlie Watts gave us some great drumming, and so did Ringo. Ringo's, they both gave us a lot of great drumming on all the records that they played. They were phenomenal drummers. Because think of it, I mean, just a good drummer in my book is not just somebody who can play fast or play real intricate stuff. It's somebody who can lay down a beat and keep the timing just in that pocket so that it's comfortable all the way through. And those guys can do it. They could do it without breathing. They could do it so good. ELO's Bev Bevan, yeah, that's another great. Oh my God, I listened to ELO so much as a kid growing up. I also loved Earth, Wind, and Fire was another one. You had a couple drummers on there. Oh yeah, Okay, so that's where I knew. I wasn't sure who Matt Abs was. I knew I heard the name before, but I couldn't remember what group he was from. From Government Mule, yeah. Okay, that's where now I know. Yeah, like I said, I've been playing for 40 years, and I know a lot of drummers. I'm not so great with the names sometimes. I listen to some other drummers more than others too. So, but yeah, no. Every drummer that I listen to, I really the first thing I do is can they play? Can they keep timing? Then can they play? Some really neat fills. Can they play? Can they sound different? Phil Collins. As soon as you hear him play, you know instantly whether he's playing with, by himself in his own group, his own band, or he's playing with Genesis, or he's playing with some other artist. As soon as I look at the artist and I hear that drumming style, I'll look to the credits. There's Phil Collins. He was playing right on there with them too. So he had that style, and that's very hard to come by. These drummers nowadays, everybody's trying to sound original because you don't want to sound like everybody else. Although it's nice to do that, like I'm trying to sound like Neil Peart, although I'll never be Neil Peart. Nobody will, be Neil Peart. And I got busted for that saying that before. That I said in a video that no one will be ever as great as Bonham. What I meant to say was that no one can be Bonham but Bonham. Bonham, the way he played, sure we can kind of play and mimic exactly what he played, but that's not our style. His style is his style. That's the way he plays. I think the only one that can play as closest to the Bonham style is Jason Bonham because it's in his blood. He's taken lessons with his father, so a lot of the thought process, playing the drums is going to go, on just the way his father did. So, and there was actually, if you look on Instagram, Jason Bonham released a little video that was actually the was the clip that they show in the movie. Song remains the same, and he was actually playing to Dr. John, who just passed away. I don't know if you guys knew that. Dr. John has a song called uh, "Living in the." I'm trying to think how it goes. It's a funky tune, man. It's so cool. Anyway, Jason Bonham was playing that song from Dr. John, and you can never hear that in the movie because they were playing the music from the movie, and the actual footage from the film of Jason Bonham playing, he was actually doing that song. Uh, in the right place at the right time or something like that. I can't think how the name of the song goes. That's by Dr. John. Vincent says, "Can you imagine how it could have been with the duel between?" Oh man, that would have been great. Have John Bonham and Neil Peart get together and jam. Wow, that would be phenomenal. Well, we do have kind of. If you look on YouTube now, there's actually a really cool video of Neil Peart playing along with Stuart Copeland. They're kind of jamming together, and there were some other drummers. I think who was it? The guy from Tool, Danny Carey, was there. Uh, but I think Stuart Copeland went to the trombone, started playing trombone. He likes to play other instruments. I guess like every drummer wants to play another instrument. But yeah, so it's pretty fun. It's a neat video. If you get a chance, check it out. Here's Theo Peart playing, jamming with some of the other drummers, and what I would have just loved to just sat in the room and just watch that, happen live. That would have been so cool. But yeah, John Bonham and the Professor. Wow, that would be cool. Yeah, I would have loved to see some other drummers play along with, you know, some other drummers that never got together. I thought it was always interesting too, listening to the Doobie Brothers. Uh, they had two drummers, and it was always interesting to have like why would they have two drummers on there? I was always wondering that. And well, why one guy was handling the beat, another guy was doing a fill, or if the other guy was handling the fill, the other guy would do the beat. And a lot of times they would play on track together, and sometimes they'd split off and do different things. So that was kind of neat. Grateful Dead did that too. They were the band that had two drummers as well. Um, just something interesting. I just thought that was cool growing up to see two drummers in a band. It was wild because obviously we've got different guitar players in bands, two different guitar players, three, sometimes four different guitar players in a band, and guess why not have two drummers in a band? So, Dwayne says one thing that got me interested in drums Was 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover Beat. Yeah, Paul Simon. Yeah, I remember hearing that. And I'll tell you, I was fortunate enough. This is crazy. I can't even believe I'm saying this. But actually, when I got to meet Steve Gadd on the side, I got to, everybody was kind of done signing autographs and stuff. And he was still sitting there and he was on his drum set. And I think he was getting ready to put it away. And I said, "Hey, you wouldn't by chance like kind of show me a little bit of how you do the 50 ways to leave your lover beat?" I said, "I know you did it in the clinic, but I said I'd just love to see you show me how to do it, like, because I said I'm having one of the parts I'm not getting right. Can you show me this?" And he sat down and he showed it to me. It was like really cool. So I had Steve Gadd show me how to play 50 ways to leave your lover. And if he would have told me that, I just would have never believed it. I can't believe that actually happened. Steve Gadd is phenomenal. He's the nicest guy in the world. So he's so nice. He'd probably give you the shirt off his back. He really did. He really would. Um, but yeah, Steve Gadd's phenomenal. See the owners of Southland Music. They had a sale of the rest of the music gear in the basement before they moved. The lady knew you, nice lady. Oh, okay. Yeah, I miss playing and teaching at the music store. That's for sure. That was a lot of good years there. I mean, some bad, some not. I don't, don't want to even talk about. But most of it was good. Most of it was good. But yeah, we had a lot of hard times, and or I should say, a few hard times and a lot of good times there. But I'm teaching at my house now, and if you know of anybody, I'm in the Michigan area, uh, kind of 20 miles, 30 miles out of Detroit, and I'm in this city of Southgate, Michigan, and I just been teaching here for the last 2 years, and it's been going pretty good. I just need to let people know that I'm out there. I'm out here teaching drum lessons at my house because a lot of people still think, if they haven't been to the mall in a while, they go to the mall and they go, "Hey, where's he at? He's not here anymore." You know, so it's kind of hard to not be at the mall anymore. I wish I was, but let's see. Catch some of these other ones. Allman Brothers bands had two drummers. Yeah, the Allman Brothers had two drummers. Phenomenal. Love the Allman Brothers band as well. Late in the Evening by Paul Simon. Yep, Steve. Oh yeah, he's brilliant on that stuff. That was one of the things he showed us at the clinic was the late in the evening pattern. How it's a real Latin-y kind of paradiddle kind of a pattern out of it. Well, that's how we met. So I hope that wasn't a bad part. Rachel Sprout. Oh my God, it's Rachel. Hi, Rachel. There's one of my drum students is on here. That's cool. Um, I'm not far from you in Wayne, Michigan. Okay, I'll put the word. Hey, thanks. I appreciate that, Alvin. I really do. I'm just trying to let people. I've been kind of posting on Facebook. I've been posting on different websites and stuff, and it's just I don't know. I'm getting stuff by word of mouth by people that know me in the area. But I need to get out more. I don't know, maybe Skype lessons. What do you guys think about me doing Skype lessons? That's something that somebody would want to take lessons to do that. I mean, I've it's just like teaching. Imagine just instead of face to face, we do it in camera to camera, the camera eye. Rush. No. Let's see, Alvin. The Steve Gadd pattern made him famous. Yeah, it sure did. That and that 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. Everywhere he goes, he says he gets that question asked, "Can you show me that beat? Can you show me that beat?" And then here I come up to him and go, "Hey, can you show me that beat?" I'm sure he just loved that one. Hey, I got the itch to go from Drum Talk. Okay. Let's see. Dwayne, Al Jackson. Alan Jackson Jr. was awesome. Okay. Al Jackson Jr. Yeah. Yeah. He's a good drummer too. Um, Trying to think of Al Jackson. He's with. Give me some clues of who he's played with. Um, More YouTube will get you noticed. Your YouTube vids are great. Thank you, Alvin. Appreciate that very much. Motown is great. Yeah. Uh, I was actually at the Motown Museum. If you guys, if you live close or if you want to travel, it's worth it. They got the Motown Museum here, and I was actually it was cool standing in the same studio that all those great songs were recorded with. They have some of the original instruments that are still there in the studio. One of them's the piano, another one's the drums, and they're there in the studio, and you can kind of clap, and you can hear kind of a little bit of the echo in the studio, and then they play a little bit of the songs from that from their in the studio. They play a little bit of it just to kind of let you close your eyes and picture what it was like to be there at that time when they recorded. That was really cool. And you go on tour and you get to see it's like a house. It's just basically a house, and they turned it into a studio. And but it's really interesting, and they have a little store you can go into and buy little trinkets of Motown stuff. And but yeah, check out the Motown Museum. It's really good. If you're close by, it's not too expensive either. I think it's like 30, 40 bucks, something like that. They have special days where I seen like a whole mess of bass players out by the front of the. So they must have like bass day or something. It'd be cool if they had drum day. I'd like to show up at that one. But I only seen like a whole mess of drummers. I mean, a whole mess of bass players playing out by the front. They were all taking a picture together, and tons of different bass players. One of my bass players that I played with in the band was there. He was in the shot of it, so that's how I learned about it. Hit some drums with the rubber tips. Okay, yeah, actually, these rubber tips are pretty cool. I got them. Brick First gives you two sets of them, and where's my sticks at? I think I left them over here. So I like to use these tips if I'm playing a roll on the cymbals mostly. They do muffle a little bit, like of the drums, just so they're not loud. I'll play them on this kit so you can kind of see. Here's the okay. So here's without the tip. Here's with the tip. Adds a little more fatness to it, I guess. A little dull. It has a nice bounce to it. They don't come off. They're on there pretty good. So they're not going to come out like while you're playing. They're not going to come off. But I like to use them for doing cymbal rolls. Sometimes I'm playing in church where they have to do a cymbal roll like that. So I'll use these. So on the cymbals, they're really quiet. But so anyway, actually, just as I said that, one of them rolled off. Must I didn't put it on there too good. Anyway, it's down. It's down there. But anyway, yeah. So mostly for rolls on the cymbals. That's kind of what I use these for. Mostly, I don't play with them on the drums. Um, if you have a piece of wood, there's your practice pad. You got your rubber tip, and play on the wood, and boom, boom, boom. There you go. So that's kind of what I would use them for, other than cymbal rolls. Um, well, it looks like I don't know how long this video is. An hour and 25-minute video. Have I been on here an hour and a half? Oh my god! Have you ever visited Canada? Oh yeah. Are you kidding me? Niagara Falls. I want to go down to Niagara Falls in a drum. No. Put me in a big bass drum and just roll me. Just say drum roll and then just throw me over the side. Anyhow. Well, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go have some dinner. Like I need it, right? Anyhow, let's see. Windsor Casio back in the 90s. Oh, yeah, I was actually in Windsor. In fact, I played in the 80s. I was with a band, and we played a lot of Canada. Canada loved American rock bands. And in the 80s, we were doing Led Zeppelin, Van Halen. They loved us. Um, oh, thanks, Dwayne. So, yeah, we loved playing Canada because they rocked the house. I mean, as soon as we got done playing, the whole crowd was just, I mean, it was nuts. They were taking their beer cans and their bottles and just trying to do for an encore, you know. And we'd come back out. We must have done like two or three encores, and you know, it was like 2, 3, 4 in the morning, or like trying to get like out of there. We want to just go home and go to bed. So, but yeah, that Canada is fun. I love playing Canada. Hard to get over the border, even back in the '80s, before all of the 9/11 stuff had happened. Even back in the '80s, it was tough to get over the border because they wanted you to make sure you had your paperwork, all the instruments that you brought over, that you're bringing them back, and a lot of stuff to go, you know, from to the border around on the bridge, because we go from Michigan right over on the Ambassador Bridge and get over there to play Windsor or Erio, Canada. That was another place we played. I'll never forget that place. That was tough because the gig we had to play was like up 2 flights of steps. So we were carrying these big amplifiers and big speakers and drums, and oh my god, it was a headache. And there was no elevator, so you had to get it literally up the steps, and it would barely fit around the sides of the steps. Oh, it was a big pain. It took us hours to get up the steps to get all the instruments. It was crazy. So we had this big light box. We couldn't even get the light box up. We had to take all the lights one by one up there because the box was so long it couldn't get around the door. It just couldn't get it, you know, up the stairs and around the doors and stuff. It was crazy. And then going home that night, it was like, you know, super cold, snow everywhere, ice everywhere. I was so tired. I sticking my head out as I'm driving home. I'm sticking my head out the door, and just to keep awake, and that cold air hitting me, so to keep me awake from, you know, passing out while I'm driving. Oh yeah, Canadians love Rush, and America loves Rush too, man. I love Rush, love Rush, love Rush. And I seen Alex Lifeson some video. He was playing a Telecaster, standing in the back by some band, and they were playing just regular bar rock music, and here he was playing along with them. He had a full beard and everything. It was really hard to see Alex like that. It was like, oh my god, Alex, you know. But he's still having fun. He's just playing, you know. And then I saw Geddy Lee in the car with David Grohl. David Grohl was driving, and there was Geddy Lee and him driving together. I don't know what they were doing, but anyway, yeah, that was cool to see them. Gigging gear different these days. No amps, just modeling gear for guitarists. And yeah, that's true, Alvin. Yeah, there's a lot of less gear now. Everybody's trying to get that smaller amp, you know, so you can carry it around easier. Of course, drummers still have to carry the drums. They still have to carry the big bass drum and all that, unless you're going electronic. And still, you still got a lot of stuff to set up. Whether you play electronic or acoustic, there's no getting around. You've got to bring gear. You got to bring gear, and you got to set it up, and you got to tear it down. It's just so much to do, you know. All right. Well, it looks like I'm gonna go grab some dinner, and you guys, I'll do some more of these if you guys want. Let me know about the Skype. Leave some comments below, and let me know if you guys like the Skype lessons. If you want to do that, and we'll have some fun. So I'll see you on the next video, maybe the next live video. You guys take care, keep rocking, and this is Joe Drums 2112 signing off. Take care.